Hey, hey, hey. Well, it is. Here's your marketing live after dark, right? I wanted to spend this Friday evening with with my bestie, billionaire bestie, and we went to a high school basketball game. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but they're always such great freaking lessons. That's why I love sports so much, right? Always great, great, great lessons to learn. But tonight's lesson, I also learned from being around teenagers, and it's watching them get caught up in the comparison game, right? So they said that the worst thing for a teenage girl is to be on social media early. And I think it's the same thing for businesses. Same thing for businesses. Hold tight. Hear me out. Let me tell you why. Because before, when I was building my business, yes, the first one, the very first one, back before my hair was gray. Start 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, 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 it is the live after dark of me with marketing fun. Yes, yes, yes. My energy is kind of wah, wah, wah on day 8. But I always get it done, right? I committed to get it done. So let's get it done. So today I wanted to talk to you about the worst marketing thing you can do, right? So I've been explaining how things work, and I've been explaining what my favorite ones are, but today I want to talk to you about the worst thing you can do, only because my DMs are full. My DMs are full of ideal customers who say the craziest damnedest things about their businesses, right? And here's where it comes from. It comes from the same place that my teenage daughter, when she feels insecure, it comes from her comparing herself. So let me hold tight, right? Same thing with the business. So when I was building my very first business, I read Entrepreneur every month. I read Inc. magazine every month. I bought books after books after books, endless books. So that because my father, this is the 10th anniversary of his passing today. My father told me that anytime I wanted to learn something, all I had to do was read it in a book. Was read it in a book. He said, "There's no new shit, Rochelle. Nothing is new. Nothing is new. There's just new spins on it. There's new ways of what everybody does. But, even with tools and stuff, as things are progressing, the fundamentals always stand true." And I'm so grateful for him for telling me that and sharing that with me, because he's so right about the fundamentals never, ever change. So back to the story. When I was first building my company, I could trust a book. I could trust the news. I could trust magazines as the place where I could model my business, so that I didn't have to go, oh, are they telling the truth? Because media, whether they were manipulating or not, the business media pretty much told the truth. And we could rely on that business model. So we could look at what they were doing. We could say, okay, let's do it. Now, fast forward to the internet. Now, fast forward to uh, is the news right? What are they reporting? Is that correct? And people could create their own facade, right? So much so that a congressman got elected from a facade. So much so that they just did that crazy hit movie of the girl that convinced everybody that she was an heiress. So much so, right? It's just because people don't fact check, like don't go down deep, and they don't really figure it out for themselves. So now let's fast forward. What has been going on this week, since I've been sharing tips on marketing tips, that so many people come to me and ask questions, or they request one of my free gifts that I have, right? And when I dig deeper, their real challenge is not the one that they're asking me, right? The real challenge isn't it. And I go, damn, where does that come from? And here's where it comes from looking at other businesses, being envious, or comparing your business to theirs and saying, oh, I just need to be on Instagram. That's what the problem is. Oh, I just need a funnel. That's what my problem is. Oh, I just need PR. That's what my problem is. Oh, I just need a podcast. That's what my problem is. Or I just need SEO. That's what my problem is. And it's not the truth. Internet, podcasts, everything is interwoven so that your podcast could get them to your website. But if your website isn't converting, then nobody's going to call you. If in fact your funnel is just set up, you still have to send traffic to the funnel. You still like everything is connected, right? And when you reverse engineer it, when you compare, when you look from the outside in without really knowing, is this working for them? You make mistakes and you assume things that are not submitted in evidence. That's not in evidence. We don't know. So you're looking at how they set their website up and you get somebody to duplicate it. You go find somebody on one of the sites and you say, hey, here's $100, here's $150, match that one right there. And you don't even know if it worked. Or you say, here's an email that they sent to their list and I'm on their list, so I'm going to use this same email. And you don't even know if it works or if it'll work for your audience. So if you never sold hard, right, you are not your customer. It may not work. So stop doing that shit. Look, it's after dark. It's late at night. I can just tell you the truth, shame the devil, right? Stop it. Stop looking at the outside. Only make decisions based on what you know to be true, what you've seen. They just put it out there, but you think you know, but oftentimes you don't know. Yeah. It's not always what it appears or what it appears to be. So how do you fix it, right? How do you fix it? Of course, my fix is always ask somebody who does know. Ask somebody who you can spend time with, that they can show you how this works, right? But don't go into your cocoon and watch from the outside and assume that this is a great business and assume that this business is making money, because you never, ever know. You know, I used to, when the coaching space first kind of started, right? And they had these beautiful pictures and, you know, all of this stuff. And then when they would all like have me on their podcast and then they go, oh, I need some help. Well, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, you know, gosh, I haven't had a client in my, what? Right. But you've got all of this, but you got what you think it looks like instead of what real business looks like. That's why I don't care when I show up in workout clothes, because guess what? Businesses work. Businesses work. Told you that the other day. It's work. That's why people get in and out of this business. There's not longevity. Right? Been in this business 30 years. 30 years. And I don't compete on what it looks like. Right? I compete on what I know. I compete on what I know to work. You need to do that. So here are your rules. Okay? Here are your rules. If you are frustrated, if you are a smart entrepreneur, you've got a good business and you've been struggling, frustrated to get it to the next level, and everything that you've tried, it doesn't work. You've hired marketing people, you've hired SEO people, you've hired video people, you've hired all of these folks, and money's just going out, but it's not coming in. So here are your new rules, right? Just like if somebody knocks on your door and comes in to sell you a television ad or a newspaper ad, right? None of that matters. Like, you need to start with your market, not the tactic. Let me repeat that. Rule number one is start with your market. Where is your market? Are you even sure they are online? Had a client who was a therapist, family therapist, and she did mostly marriage counseling. You know, her and her husband had been married for 50 years, and she did lots of small groups, made multiple six figures, had a great business. Yeah. But she fell in love with the internet. Sky is being protective. She fell in love with the internet. And while she was, Skylar, stop it. While she was in love with the internet, she kept trying to force the internet on her clients. Okay, so first of all, this is a very, very private thing. Do you think they want to be on the internet and answering information on the internet? That's my little 10-pound killer, right? Go with her. They don't want to. So you need to start with who your market is. Start there. Not that, a lot of people make money on the internet. That's not where it starts. You start with your market. That's the first rule. Second rule is you don't get to determine how much money people are making until you see their P&L, until you see their profit and loss. Don't tell me how much money they're making. So today we were talking about a good friend of ours, Javier, who has this wonderful air conditioning business. Nobody's ever heard of Javier. He did a really cool partnership with apartment complexes and a company that goes and renovates them all. Javier's got a couple houses. He's got every toy you can imagine. It's him and his two sons, balling out of control. Okay. But we've seen the bottom line for him. We've seen the things that, he's not mortgaged. He put it all together and worked it out. Okay. So you don't get to compare until you actually see that number, right? Number 3, realize that if you do not know enough about the subject, you will get hustled. What do I mean by that? If you don't know enough about a podcast, SEO, PR, like I did, I thought PR just worked. I thought that when I paid the $10,000 that I was going to get $100,000 the next day. Didn't work. Told you I got 2 letters from jail. But it was because I hadn't done enough research. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. Okay. So you need to make sure that before you invest in this thing that's supposed to transform your business, you need to know enough about it so that you don't get hustled, because that's all they do. They overpromise and underdeliver, but now you're stuck. Now you're stuck. And it's because you don't know enough about it. But you're smart. That's the whole thing. And then now, like the woman in my DMs today, she's like, I'm not spending any more money on marketing. What are you talking about? Okay, so if you're not growing, you're dying, right? But she saw my ad and then she got scared. Oh my gosh, she's going to sell me something. Actually, I'm just trying to help you, right? You reached out to me. I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me. But you don't want to invest in marketing anymore? Okay. So if you're not going to have a business here in a minute, Like, what are we doing? Like, that doesn't even make logical sense, but we've got so caught up in what it looks like on the outside and believe in this hooky-lao and believing these pictures and believing the stuff, believing that they actually live in that house that they're showing. They rented that house. That car they borrowed for the photo shoot. They're not flying private, right? They're not private. Every time, they're not flying private every time. But see, you don't know how much it actually costs and how much they're actually making. So because of that, you're like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. No, that's not. No, that's not. And really amazing business owners are super frugal people. They don't do that, right? And if you know any rich people, you would never know that they even had money until you go to the house and you go, oh, Jesus. And sometimes it's not even when you go to the house. So just make sure that you follow those rules. Number one is start with the market, not with the tactic. Number two, don't believe the facade. Don't believe the hype until you see the profit and loss statement. And number three, do not invest in it until you know about it. Don't just do that. Just don't do that. I had a councilman come to me and said, oh, I want to write a book. I saw you wrote a book. Help me write this book. Okay, well, what's your book about? Like, who's going to buy it? Oh, well, I took a lot of pictures with dignitaries. And so it'll be a coffee book. What the fuck? A coffee table book, you mean? Yeah. Okay, so who's going to buy this? Oh, well, they'll buy it to see. They'll see the picture of you with Mike Tyson, you with the president, you with Jill Biden. Who's going to buy that other than your mama? No. So these are the rules, right? If you don't know about the strategy or the tactic, don't just buy it. Stop it. Stop it. Because you're burning through cash and now you believe that Facebook ads don't work. That's not true. They work. They showed your ad to the people, but you probably didn't have your targeting right. You probably didn't have your strategy right of how they work. Right? Then you'll say stuff like, oh, webinars don't work. Webinars are still working every single day. Direct mail doesn't work. Do you know that I just talked to a person that's in my DMs? I said, how are you getting new clients? He's like, oh, mailers, direct mail. Of course, because it still works. Because people actually open their mail. They go to the mail and then they're investing in it, but nobody wants to spend any money. They just want customers for free. That's not what business is. We put $1 in, we get $4 out. And we do that with smart marketing. When you start with your market, then number 2, you do your message. And number 3, then you pick your mechanism. Marketing triad. Yeah. The hell. Okay. All right. So I love you for free on a late Friday night. Enjoy yourself. If you can't be good, be careful. Tomorrow we'll get back to some tactics, but boy, I thought we were beyond this spot, but I see that there's so much of that other side. There's so many pretenders that a lot of you believe the pretenders, right? Had a person come to me the other day. And asked me to be in a magazine. Okay, great. I'd love to. Absolutely. Oh yeah, by the way, it costs. Well, USA didn't charge. USA Today didn't charge me. Entrepreneur didn't charge me. Smart Money didn't charge me. I just don't, right? I don't pay to play that game. For what? Like that, it doesn't make sense to me. So why are you paying for that? It's not getting you exposure. It's making your mother very proud. But that's about it, right? And even this was my client I had to say no to. It's my client I had to say no to. I had to go, you know what? That's just kind of not what I do. Because I don't want that to be, if you only have a certain amount in your marketing budget, I don't want you paying for vanity stuff. I want you paying for and investing in something that's going to bring back a customer to you. Does that make sense? Oh, does that make sense? You know, Vegas is full of those magazines, right? You be on the cover. We're going to throw a party for you. And we have a cover release party. Yay! Can't deposit none of that. None of that cover release party. None of that. We can guarantee that there's going to be 1,000 people there. And then what? And then what? Right? And then what? So it's understanding how all of these things work, how they all work, right? How they all work. Boy, all right, we're done. Rant over. Love you for free. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.